Okay, so we got the sign that we are connected outside our little screens to some other screens, perhaps, and we will remain in that virtual space forever until there is no more electricity. Welcome, everyone. I think we are all past noon in our different spaces and countries. I think right now in Argentina is 6:08, and the 8 minutes is probably shared everywhere else. John is in Victoria. I think you are the earliest in the day. What time is it there?
1 o'clock, 1 something here. And I have this room booked until 2:35.
Okay.
I just got done with the performance art class in this room right here.
Excellent. Yes, it's fantastic to have this open space, there, and see you, and you repeated in the screen. It is a novelty for our conversations.
And I can see you on the screen on the other side of the wall.
Oh, okay. Okay, fantastic. So John is in Canada, and we also have Ying Mei. And
Ying Mei.
yes, Ying Mei, hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Ying Mei, hello, hello. Here we are now.
I'm in Germany now.
Germany, yes.
Yeah. I was 2 days ago.
And what time is there?
10 o'clock. 10.
So it's quite late for Ying Mei and also Noel. Noel is Ireland.
Hi, everybody. Yeah,
okay.
It's just gone 9:05 p.m.
Oh, 9:05. So there is 1 hour difference between Germany and Ireland.
That's it.
Okay, okay. So Sinead O'Donnell, she is coming. I just got the message. Good. So she's coming in, and this is perfectly right on time. Yeah, and live. So perfect. So this is our, this part of this conversation is part of a series that we call analytical conversations, which are spaces to review the works of some artists that are available for the conversations, to review the immediate past editions, and to talk with artists that have been selected in that edition. In this case is 2022. To hear the voices and reflect about the work, the methods, the concepts around composing performance. And in that exhibition, in that edition, 2022, we had the call, which normally the call of this festival always proposes some sort of idea or something to kind of create a space of reflection prior to thinking, what do I send, and that sort of thing. Not like a theme, like an enclosed thing, but it's sort of a curatorial proposition, right? And, being 22 and almost right after pandemia, with all the distancing and all that, isolation, we thought it was good to bring up to the center the idea of working collectively. So the call was stated as plural body, collective thinking. We thought it was good to bring up Okay, there was a little repeat there, reverberance. I think it's because Jeanette can enter this space conversation and the mic was open, so now it's all okay. We will make sure we close our mics when we're not talking, when it's not. So basically, I was just, hello, Jeanette, I don't see you yet, but no? No, she hasn't entered yet. Okay, but eventually she will. So all of your works that we are going to talk about now and hear from you about them, they are part of this response to this idea of thinking collectively and producing performance with other people. So today we have you four invited. Yingmei Duan, born in China and living now in Germany. Sinead O'Donnell from Ireland. John Boehm from Canada, and Noel Molloy also in Ireland. And I will invite each one of you to make a very brief, like a brief introduction now in the beginning. Basically, you say your name, the place where you are right now. We already talked about the time it is there. And the title of the piece you submitted in this 2022 edition, the date that piece was made, because not all of the pieces were from the same year necessarily. We have this open for artists to just decide on the context, not necessarily that it has to be from that year or even from 5 years ago is okay. And perhaps you want to mention a little bit about the collaborators. Then we will go deeper into that. So, so maybe we can start with Yingmei, and hopefully Jeanette will come in then. And so, yeah, Yingmei, you open your mic. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well.
I think my English is not so good than all of you, because yeah. And how long the meeting? Can I ask how many minutes each artist can speak?
Yeah, right now, just only mention the name of your piece, right? Very short, just the name of the piece, yeah. Where was made, the year that the piece was made, and maybe mention the type of collaboration. Then we go very briefly, or just that, yeah. Then we will go around, like in circles. We go, each one of you says that, and then we come back with more in depth.
Yeah, okay. My performance named Yingmei and her friends in Chongqing. Chongqing is in China. It's a big city in China, in south of China. And I had a 3 months residency in Chongqing. I like to know more people, to know people what they are doing and what kind of this person. Therefore, I decide. I worked with 35 people during my time, and with around 20 people or the 15 people, I developed with each person a video, also a video, and in the you show the performance, the video is my opening performance. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
2009.
So we have like if the 4 pieces of these 4 artists here now, although Sinead is not still there, but they're very different and they all have this collaborative ingredient. And your piece entails the most people and longest process, because it's very, very, very interesting. We want to know all about it. You just mentioned 35 people.
Yes.
And yeah, the performance submitted is the inauguration of the installation. Is interactive object, video installation, performance as exhibition guide that you did with the audience, which are those friends and those people that you met in that city and included in the exhibition, right?
Yeah.
So
actually, the performance, the video you show is just a short, cutted performance documentation. Original the performance was around 1.5 or 2 hours.
Yes, we can defer that watching the video and understanding, you know, what the situation is. That is a summary of the moment, because you are there surrounded with all of the friends that have been part of this process of this residency that you mentioned, you did. And certainly that took longer time, but it's a sample of what was happening. This confidentiality and relational moment with the people and the objects, and some of the objects belong to those people also. So it's absolutely very, very interesting. Okay, so now we can hear from Noel. Noel, your piece is a single performance with a group of singers you invited, and a performance that is commemorative of some historical event in a very specific
I just got a little confused. Sorry, Grace. And I was just wondering. Yeah, the burning.
The burning, exactly. Yeah. The burning.
Yeah, well, the piece came about. There is a singers group. It's a amateur and professional singers who gather regularly every month, and they exchange songs, they write songs, all this sort of thing. They create various events and this thing, and they have traveled internationally and nationally and collaborate with various groups. So this is not the only collaboration I've done with them, but they're at the time, it was in 21, I hope I'm right, that the there was a commemoration of an event that took place within a village where they are based called Knockcrockery in the middle of Ireland, which is not far from where I live. And the event was where the village was burned down, the entire village, and all of the residents in the village were displaced. So there was this commemoration to remember the people. Luckily enough, as far as is known, there isn't a definitive history of it. Nobody was killed. There were mock executions. There were, and this is in the particular place where the performance took place. It's a handball alley, and a handball alley, to describe to everybody, is a structure of 3 walls where a game is played by hand, just using the hand like a tennis racket, and a ball is hit against the wall, and there's various rules and whatever. But people were placed in this space, and mock executions were carried out, and some of the markings from some of the bullet holes are still visible in the wall. So I thought, what a place to, because of actions like that happening. Also, there was other various things happened within this space at the time and that sort of thing. And, you know, we don't know exactly, because of shame, because of people not wanting to know what happened to them. You know, you're talking rape, you're talking etc. So we don't know exactly. So basically what happened was it was at the time of the Civil War, the War of Independence in Ireland, which was a civil war, and there was a troop of a regiment, and they were called the Black and Tans. And the reason why they were called Black and Tans was because the color of the uniform they wore. And they, in a neighboring county, a British Army officer was killed in a battle. So as a reprisal, they sort of put two and two together and got 5. And thought that a faction of the Irish Republican Army, who from the particular area I'm talking about, they blamed them for the killing of this British Army officer, when in actual fact they didn't. That it was discovered later that it was another, and it was reported in the national newspapers at the time. And so a bunch of these guys who, from this regiment, who were, as it was said, and as it is known, had been drawn from prisons and various other aspects throughout the English countryside. So they got drunk, they got into vehicles and decided to basically burn the village down. So what they actually did was they went through the village house by house, ordering people out, shooting into the houses, burning, looting, raping, you name it. And as a consequence, most of all of the village had to seek refuge somewhere else. There was a Protestant vicar who had a big house, who helped house some of the victims. Other victims had to go to relatives in outlying areas. It's a very rural area. So some of the victims never returned to the village. Some did. The industry that was there at the time was a factory that manufactured clay smoking pipes. And that was burned to the ground. So there was no work, even though it was an agricultural area. A lot of people from the area, this village in specifically, depended on this factory for work. So there was no work. So there was a lot of the people emigrated to England, to America, and Canada, and various other places, and never returned. Some did stay. Later on, they were compensated, but what's the compensation about? It's so, but it's still ingrained in the minds of people that live there today of the events that happened. So this was what we wanted to do. And as well as that, not only in the performance, by using, and the one particular guy, he wrote a song particularly for the performance and for the commemoration. So the singers, while I was performing and doing the actions, they were singing songs. So you had this reverberation of these sounds in the alley, which is amazing. The acoustics were amazing. I keep saying to them, it's such a great space. There should be concerts. There should be, gatherings of various descriptions there. But the sounds were incredible. The only problem was the rain. But it was an amazing experience, and the way everything meshed together.
Yes, we will look at the videos. We will watch the clips of the videos to remember. And so now we say hello to Sinead. Hi, Sinead, do you hear us?
Hi, Sinead.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I thought it was 10 p.m. Tonight, so apologies for that. I had a bit of
no worries. You're
I had a bit of an anxiety attack then. I'm in rural Ireland in County Tipperary. So I had my alarm set to remind me, so apologies,
No worries. Okay, so we will hear now from John. We are just going around mentioning the name of the piece, and John's submitted piece. Yeah, we hear you. You know the piece?
Yes, Equinox 2022. And thanks for reminding me. And I'd just like to acknowledge that I'm on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen-speaking people of the Great Songhees and Esquimalt Nation, who've shepherded this land for millennia. And I'm fortunate to be here, perched precariously on the precipice of the Pacific Rim on the west coast, on an island, the west coast of Canada. And the piece Equinox had to do with the Equinox for 2022, part of our open actions event that happens, that we've been doing Equinox globally with some people around the world, really. But we've been doing actions, open actions here on the island in Victoria and the Capital Regional District for the past 15 years. Sinead, I think he participated in one when Sinead was here. Sinead.
I did.
Sinead, just wake up, Sinead.
I'm awake.
Okay. Yes. I think you did when you were here, Sinead. But this was during the Equinox, and it involved a group that comes together and synergies happen. And it was Doug Jarvis, my daughter Ciel, Eloise Arbor-Beaumais was participating, Maddie Ellie from Comox Valley, and Grace Soles and Judith Price all participated in the Equinox 2022 with various actions and connections and were made. And they were happening synergistically around the world during the equinox season. Yes, kind of awareness to a number of things, but also awareness to on the unhoused and homelessness that happens here quite regularly in the region we did it in.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you, John. Sinead, do you want to now we pass the word on you for you to tell us a bit about well, the name of the piece that you did together, and this was like a collaboration. Remind us about it.
So when we went into lockdown and pandemic, the British Council opened up opportunities called creative collaborations and connections through culture during COVID. And I live in Belfast, so, therefore it's classed as a UK. So particularly a lot of projects during that time, I became the kind of lead artist because I was living in Belfast, so I was happy to help. I worked with Chumpan Apasuk, who is the creator of Asiatopia Performance Art Festival, and he also runs the Asiatopia residency in the north of Thailand in a very rural village called Nan. So we worked, there was 5 of us artists, 4 in Thailand and myself in Belfast, and we worked on a project that we made performances, and then we tried to figure out how we would use like a digital or internet interface to host that project without but because you're obviously physically restricted. So as usual, we done more work than we got paid for, and we done a hell of a lot more work than we expected. So I worked in Belfast, and I worked in kind of like the scenario of we were allowed to, work in the public space. We were allowed to walk in the park for 1 hour. It was very strict. So I started developing work and then transmitting it to Thailand in the local parks to the 4 other artists in Thailand. And they all went to Nan, where Chumpan has these 2 amazing big residency houses for artists. And they worked up there. But the communication through Zoom went on for about 4 months. So there was a lot of talking, a lot of sharing. The restrictions in Thailand didn't seem as oppressive as Belfast and as Ireland. And we would have got the commission to work for a month or so, but I suppose being the artists we are and our need to have contact, we worked for around 6 months to a year and constantly updating each other. And there was a lot of footage, there was a lot of communication, there was a lot of success and failure with how digital technology functions, particularly when we're in a rural area or a park, and how that worked. So we managed to figure it out, and I had an assistant working with me to give me a hand, because you can't make your work, communicate with the artists, set up the digital transmission. It was a lot of management, even just for me being one person. I did feel very isolated because I was very much by myself, and I felt envious of the artists in Thailand all being able to be together, and it's lovely and hot there, so you can sit outside. But I kind of felt that the isolation was huge, because as soon as we stopped working, the computer stops, everything closes, and you're by yourself again. We successfully managed that project, and we done a kind of a live feed of we built a screen in Thailand, but there was no audience because of the restrictions. So there was this huge screen in the middle of Chumpan's land, massive professional cinema screen, and everything was digitally rigged up to high definition. So you know, when I was working from Belfast into this screen in Nan in Thailand, the way that I worked was I matched up the colors because I knew there was going to be nature and trees. I tried to blend in. So I tried to blend my work in to almost make it semi-real that I was there through visual structure and color structure.
Right.
What happened then afterwards is that we were invited to apply for an Alumni Award, which was a little bit less funding. But what we done was we built like a post project video because we had so much footage and interviews and everything.
Right.
And it was a huge amount of work, but we got it. Basically, the video is 15 minutes. It's online, it's on YouTube, and that's what you saw during your project, Gracie. And what I done in Belfast was I worked with the BsAs Festival, which is the Belfast International Art Festival of performance art. And I'm on the committee there. So I asked if we could host the launch of this video. So we launched the video in Belfast through this festival in the university, because the festival is based around the students. It's for the students to give them some sort of leeway into performance. Because that doesn't necessarily, performance doesn't really happen in the art school. It's a different story. And what we done was we set up a scenario where we live streamed myself doing a performance workshop in Belfast in the University of Atypical, which is a disability arts organisation that supports artists. And in Chiang Mai in Thailand, they worked with a space there that they ran workshops simultaneously with students and emerging artists in Thailand. And then we came up with a kind of 5-point structure of actions for the participants to activate. And we brought the Belfast students and the Chiang Mai students together through us managing their workshop. And we just created this scenario, which was great and weird and funny, but it kind of brought the two cultures together through performance art. So it was a lot of work behind the scenes. And as we were developing the work and developing the festival in Belfast, there was a teacher's strike. And we very quickly had to move. And the Thai artists didn't understand the pressure that I was under in trying to find a space that was outside the university, but was still inclusive and accessible. So it was a lot of work. So we went from developing performance art very much physically and very much performance art project, but our communication was online due to the pandemic. And then at the same time, about a year later, we got the Alumni grant to build a video documentary kind of legacy video of what we done. And I think it was great because there's so much happens in performance art projects. You know, people don't realize the amount of work we put in. People don't realize that there's not just 2 photographs, there's 600. There's not just one artist, there's 50 artists. And to be able to represent that, I really feel that the video gives a huge insight into the steps that we took together to kind of hang on, to hang on to kind of, it was a very dark and isolating, you know, place to be in, and very depressing, and you know, a lot of artists and just people struggling with mental health and grief and isolation, and it was really horrible. So it came at a good time, and it was great that we were successful, because the artists got paid. We could hire digital professionals to help us with that side of things. And it was also something that we've never done before, because we all move around and we want to perform physically, and we want to meet each other and eat together and touch each other and see each other's work. So it was a monster of a project, and at the time I suppose we didn't realize, but we achieved a lot.
Yes.
I did feel concerned that English being the kind of dominant language in the project, there was maybe things that got lost in translation. And I did feel that, God, I wish I spoke Thai, or I wish I would have, rather than relying on Chumpon Apasuk all the time, I wish we had have hired a specific person for translation, you know. But I think it was a huge achievement, and now I feel like it's a million years ago.
It's amazing. It's true. It feels like it's been a long time. We quickly, at that moment, the sense of time, at least from my experience, was like, it was a very strange time, like a plateau, like something that's still, and you couldn't really differentiate from one day to the next, and nor a month to the next. Sort of, you know, things got really, the whole idea of the dynamics and relations that really give us a sense of the time and the process and the, you know, the evolving, how we go along with others and nature even, was really sort of, you know, in a still situation and kind of difficult to, we kind of have to rethink many things. So when I saw that piece, I really liked, and I could imagine all the complexity, but now that you talk about it, it really entails a lot more time. And as you say, it was a new experience.
Yeah.
It was actually out of that, you know, new way of connecting through these devices more than we would have done ever if there wasn't a physical distancing and the possibility to travel and all that. It is that from that context that this festival was developed, performance and film or video or audiovisual languages, you know, precisely. So it's amazing to hear about the whole process, as you mentioned, and the inventing along, you know, with, and also associating with the necessary technical people to solve the breachings and
it was titled Closer Distancing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think also there's a time just difference involved. So my 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. was their 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. You know, and there was just a lot. It was just so many layers. And I've worked in the past with female artists in the Middle East and Iraq, and we've used Skype at the time to beam their performances into galleries around the world. So I was very familiar with how the online screen could work and how you could make it physical and how you could make an artist really have a presence. But when you're dealing with a pandemic and isolation and that sort of lockdown, it became so frustrating that the project gave you something to get up for in the morning. It gave you kind of some sort of hope. I think my only regret during that period was, as an artist living in Ireland, and I'm an Irish artist, I wished in a way there would have been something else for me to connect with Irish performance artists. BsAs were doing a little bit, and BBDB were doing a bit. Visual Arts Ireland were doing a little bit. But I didn't, and we were getting a lot more funding during the pandemic than we've ever got in our lives. But what I felt was a little bit missing was the strength in the projects I was doing, I didn't feel that I had that with artists at home. You know, didn't feel like, yeah, there was lots of international funding and different projects we could do or groups we could join in. But I felt that I wish I had have tried to figure out or tried to source, be more resourceful about making something as impactful and solid with my artists at home.
Right.
And I don't know why that was.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Something to do with the institutions, I don't know, and the way, the politics of funding.
I mean, they were throwing money at us to do anything international, but you're kind of going, well, I just like to work with a couple of artists here, you know. So how I got around that was when I was working and I could employ assistants, I made sure that they were artists who would benefit from the experience and they would get paid, you know. But you know, I would have loved to have done some work with Noel. I would have loved to.
Just on that.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Sinead? Yeah, just on that, I got that as well. And the project I worked on, we did it on a shoestring.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't, it was, I don't know, it was a bit of a upsy-daisy type situation in that, like you said, internationally, if you wanted to do something, the funding was there. But locally,
no,
it didn't gel with them.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't fathom the reasoning behind it, because there were so many people so excited to work that it just seemed, who's making these decisions? Where's their criteria coming from?
And then also there's the box ticking, and recently I said to Grace,
you know, it's as bad as doing an exam.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like, you know, you feel like you're back in school and you're trying to enter a college or trying to get something, you know. It's like, you know, come on, you know, the project is there. It's viable, it's sound, the artists are interested. You know, what's the problem?
You kind of like, you want to make magic happen, and there's this constant censorship of, no, it needs to be this way, or I want to work with Argentina, oh, they're not on the list. And it's it's a power that is governmental and institutional, and it's a shame, because I think it's really detrimental, particularly to Irish art and Irish artists doing organic projects.
Yes. And this is it specifically because there could be so much more interesting projects done within the country.
You know, we can also
even if artists came from, international artists came in and worked with, you know, the projects, you know, there could be so much more benefit within our own country, you know.
Then but the border is an issue between North and South, because
of course that's always a stumbling block.
We could be sharing so much, and we're kind of prevented from that, you know.
Yes, all of those issues and the different contexts have, the artists are so conditioned, you know, in terms of the possibilities that the fundings in Europe, you do have more funding and mobility, more than what we get in our region. But it's all has to do with invisible strings of interest that have to do with the way the politics are going, and wherever they see the revenue is a completely different mind than. Unfortunately, artists should maybe be part of the political system to, really, when artists are doing, in working in some institutions, I could see, like in some institutions now in Argentina, some things are really happening because the people that are, in the leader position, they know down, the culture and the reality of artists, and but it's not common. It's not common.
And the difficulty is finding the energy. Yourself, it takes so much to create work. Just to go down the road of knocking on doors and politicking.
Right.
So
I think that maybe now we take this opportunity to look at the pieces. We can look at first, we can look at Jeanette, then we look at your piece, Noel, since, we did this Ireland kind of talk. And then we see what, if you can input some other things after looking at the piece. We go one by one, and then we see Ying Mei and John. So we see first the Ireland and Thailand.
Okay, I don't know what I've done, but I can't see you anymore, and I'm afraid to touch the computer.
Now the screen, we are sharing the screen to show 2 minutes of the piece of you submitted.
Okay, thank you.
Do you see the, yeah, so. Maybe there is a bit of
normally I don't plan my performance ahead so much, especially in the open situation like this, because I don't want to miss something that happened on the way, because if I plan something ahead, then it might not happen.
รู้สึกแบบว่าดีใจมากที่แบบว่าได้ร่วมงานแบบครั้งนี้กับแบบศิลปินแบบที่หลากหลายจากหลากหลายเนี่ยค่ะแล้วก็เราคือเหมือนพอได้มาร่วมโปรแกรมเนี้ยก็ได้แบบมีการซูมมีการแบบพูดคุยกัน
I was a little bit like Chumpon. I didn't want to have too many ideas coming on arriving. I had some ideas just as a backup, but I wanted to be fresh because most of my work is site specific, especially from the dance background.
When I thinking about the work I will make in our project, that's why I think about the Myanmar situation on that time. On my work, I use actions is the walking on the stage.
It was a great opportunity, it just came at the right time. The world had just shut its door on everything. We were controlled by a pandemic, an illness that was spreading across the globe, and things were very dark and confused. And Chumpon approached me with the project Closer Distance, and I was delighted because it kind of gave me a little bit of hope, a little bit of light.
Great. Okay, so so we can see the right there a contrast in the way, you know, the multiple screens, the actual physical screen on the stage that Chupong has in the residency, that screen. So at times it seems like the video we watched is, Jeanette, you clarified that is the video that was finally made as a documentation of part of the process of the exchange, right? Sácale el micro.
Performance art can disappear. Performance art appears, disappears. So I think it was just a different way of trying to represent something that happened, you know. Yeah, but it wasn't easy. It's pretty difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, it really the documentation is also focusing on your work, Chumpong, both, and the other artist that lives in Thailand. Mm-hmm. And they were able to share the same space. But you also had this interaction with students and opened up, and that it's what I see in this video documentation. There's that effort to talk about the process. Of course, what we saw is even shorter clips within it to kind of show each one of you, the 4 artists. But so each artist, there is this the split screen in which the artist is talking about how, you know, the encounter with the idea and developing the piece came up, which is something that I can see students would benefit very much for that. And in the right next to it, you see the artist performing. So it's really a fantastic tool, you know, and like pedagogically and for audiences as well. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it's like an object, the video itself, that talks about a moment that it was really very difficult. and how artists found a way to heal through and create those connections that were not possible. So in that sense, the piece it has many layers in that way, you know, like as an audiovisual piece itself, also documentary, but there is also part of the artworks that you created, you all created, each one of you there. So it's really quite, I really liked it a lot. And in the case of Noel, it's a single space commemoratory and a community. You have a sense, I don't know what year was that, was it during pandemic?
It was actually done in 21.
Yeah, 21. Yeah, I remember.
Under great restrictions.
Very great restriction. Everyone is against the walls.
It's like, it was crazy at the time in the sense that Sinead would know about this. You could have 50 persons at a wedding. The immediate family had a funeral. No, it was only 4 people at a funeral at that time, and 15 people at any event. But we ignored that.
Also, Gracie, in Dublin, made decisions about restrictions 3 weeks before Northern Ireland, because Northern Ireland followed the UK pattern.
Yeah.
So basically, my family and myself in Belfast, we were able, and Irish people are pretty good at this, seeing what the rules are and what we can kind of work around them creatively. So we would know, okay, they're locking down Dublin, for example, they're locking down the south, and the north is going to be 3 weeks. So we would even figure out shopping, groceries. Okay, so if I go down to my family in Dublin before Dublin locks down, they're going to let me back to Belfast because I lived there. So families were very much separated.
Yes.
And we couldn't go within 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
And artists were, you know, I know people now who don't practice art anymore because they're so traumatized. So these projects, I think, they really kept us going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
it was through the stamina and the sort of, as we use the word here, neck of people who, you know, said, no, we will, you know, it will prevail. We'll get out there and we'll do it, you know, and okay, we'll work to the restrictions, but in a sense, but you know, the project will be done.
Yeah. Come hell or high water, we'll get it done.
Yeah, and as I said before, you know, on a wing and a prayer, it was done.
Yeah. So now I think it would be good to watch John's piece, and that was 2022. Yeah, so we're going to watch that. We hear from you, John, you know, continuing in the conversation in relation to all of this, and you know, the working together. 22 was easier. 21 was very hard. So we look at that, and then we go to Yingmei, which is like a feast. Everybody's together, very close, and we can hear from Yingmei then. So we watched John's piece now. John,
Hello. You can hear me okay?
perfectly fine.
Oh, great. Yes, that was during the equinox in a vacant lot on a busy thoroughfare in Victoria, which is now a Tesla wholesale lot for e-cars, Teslas. And it brought together, all of us. My daughter was fortunately able to participate. She's now away at doing a master's in Abu Dhabi. So that was nice to be able to collaborate. We also had other people that inadvertently came by. Yes, and there were restrictions here. I mean, we're on an island off the coast of British Columbia, Canada. So, we're kind of remote anyway. So it's pretty sequestered to get off the island. So people, hunkered down, and there was quite a bit of hygiene going on. I just found objects from the environment, which was the environment was a number of unhoused people and people going under mental health issues and addictions around the area. So there were a number of questionable items around there. I was fortunate that my daughter works with the unhoused and people under the throes of addiction. So she knew quite a few of them. So she was, adding people in that were coming in and participating. So we've been doing this by now for 14 years. And so there's a bit of a synergy that happens and connection that happens with fellow participants.
Yeah, so there were participants that are part of the Open Actions collective. Is a collective
it's open to anybody that comes in.
Also, yeah. But so your daughter sort of knew some of the people in the area,
yes.
And
it's similar to Belfast and other places where it's a pretty small community.
Yeah.
So people generally know everybody. I mean, would you agree, Sinead, that pretty much everybody if you've been here as long as you have Noel, you probably as well. People that participate, and then there are people who don't.
Yeah.
So some people, just like everything, some people are doers and they do things and they make things, and some people don't participate. And so it's the same thing. What I find difficult is that its performance, it's ephemeral in its nature, as Sinead pointed out. And when you're trying to make an indexical trace of that, it becomes a video work, and you miss the nuances of the live work. And during lockdown, it was hard to encapsulate the vibrancy of that lived moment in person.
Yes, of course. But the fact that those being able to be outside in that open area parking lot, I guess it was okay to gather, and so it's a good opportunity to gain again this connectivity in a very open way, as you mentioned.
Well, it's the encounter that you have, and the synergy that happens between people, or doesn't, as the case may be. So it's not always.
In that video, we don't see any audience. It's like everyone is in the space participating in some way. Even the camera is sort of performative because it's the space seems, of course, the wide angle lens gives you the sensation that the space is even bigger, but there is some performativity in the camera. I don't know.
Yes, 100%. It's that editing, it's the flow, it's very cinematic, the way that works. One of the things that happens, I work in public space all the time, predominantly public spaces, is you don't know what's going to happen or what the public, quote unquote, public is going to do. And when you're working in a volatile environment here in North America, like there's a massive amount of addiction and mental health and unhoused people and that come by, and you know, and they're not performance artists, and they join in, and you know, people living on the street. So it's hard to sometimes deviate between that, but in public environment, you know, people that don't have any history of performance art can engage with it, and that's a magical time when they say this is performance art, and they're like, this would be the atypical performance art. They're like, performance art. Now I see it, and they have no historical background.
Right. It's interesting because that dimension of the what you are saying, we don't necessarily know when we encounter just the video, you know. We don't necessarily know, you know, that some of those people are people that actually live in the area in very fragile situation, but then they find this moment in which, you know, they can join, you know, there is a moment of empathy and leveling in a way of a different reality, you know, which is not what, because yeah, the society would segregate and actually all of those human issues, you know, and social tragedies are denied.
It brings to mind privilege. And as a white male, you know, I dominate, and I historically have dominated, you know, in terms of colonization and the way I navigate the world. Inherently, I have unearned privilege in a North American situation. So when it comes to public space, the rules around in North America for public space were made for people like me, by people like me, in a historical sense. So, you know, and having awareness of that inherent unearned privilege in North America is important to know, that when other situations that people come to mind, to be inclusive and to be sensitive and to be aware of the privilege that I enjoy and have my, you know, sense of who I am.
John, could I ask you a question?
No, definitely not, Sinead.
How was, you know, you're talking about, okay, so in Belfast or Dublin, they still refer to the homeless community. Now we're hearing the term people without shelter. During this period in our lives with a pandemic, what was very evident in Belfast was that they owned the city and the street. Everyone was locked up. It was their city, their street. And it took a pandemic for red flags to be raised that this is an epidemic. Yeah. And one of the most wonderful things that happened to me in a further on project with Marta Bozłowska from Poland and Selena Bonelli from England was that when we went to make site-specific work in Belfast, the homeless community were keeping our backs, and they were interacting, and they were so confident that they came in and start making actions with us.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you describe that, John? That this is valuable, that this isn't social work, this isn't paid work, this isn't feeling pity or sorry for someone, this isn't even helping someone. This is artists leaving the interaction of using public space open, that were experienced enough to see that this is okay, it's working. And we're experienced enough to say, no, you need to safeguard that bit over there. But I really think that it's about trust. And I'm wondering, with the open actions, does the group or whoever turns up for these meetings, you know, the artists, when they can't turn up, do you usually encounter homeless or people without shelter community? or was
Oh, well,
this?
it depends on the location, for sure. I mean, you go from the rarefied high rent district to the place where people are. We usually work in, you know, public parks and other things, and they arrive, you know, or are part of the environment that we live in, and some places don't. So it depends on the location and passersby, and if it's a liminal space or a thoroughfare, that people say, hey, this looks equally as as odd as my own existence, so might as well join in. And creating an environment where you feel that you're not being judged or assessed, and you say,
was it
try it out, and they go in and out because people are on their way. So whether or not do they usually, you know, it depends on the location for sure. Sometimes you get tourists.
John, during the pandemic, was it more likely that you would encounter the homeless community in any location?
No, not any more likely than it is now. Not any more likely than, and you know, with the participants, some were really gun shy during, even were outside and distance, whether or not they were going to even go outside. But the unhoused don't have a choice. You know, they're already outside. So, and a lot of people didn't come out and do actions. You know, I did, but doesn't, yes, for sure. And some people get really upset. Some people that aren't of the unhoused, and they're dominating and unaware of their own privilege, that they're like, when you see somebody carrying signs or doing something, you're like, what is going on? Well, it's crazy. What are you doing? And when they don't get a response, you know, just like, they get upset because they want the answers, like we all do. And when you don't get the answers, then you get pissed off. You get more of a question than you need the answers. And that's the encounter, the synergy that happens in live public space that you don't anticipate. Just like with people that are under addictions and unhoused, there's a reason, you know, and it's very volatile. So a lot of people are gun shy for that reason. And de-escalation, you know, training is always helpful. I hope that answers your question, Sinead.
Yeah, no, I think it just, we're in two different kind of geographical positions in the world. I mean, Belfast was hiving, and, you know, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, when I work in public spaces, the homeless or unsheltered community are the ones that are keeping my back.
Yeah, oh, for definitely.
They're just kind of going, you leave her alone, don't touch her, she's doing her art, leave her alone. And you know, what I'm doing can be challenging, and I think with experience you learn how to handle that. What I was trying to get at was that it's in every location at home where I am. It's not a rich area or a poor area or a business area. When lockdown happened, the homeless community had their street. It was theirs.
Yeah.
They could, you know, even my husband was saying, why is that couple over there? And I says, well, because they're homeless and they probably want to be together, because they actually segregate men from women in hostels. And, you know, like, relationships happen even if you have a roof over your head or you don't. Life still happens if you have a roof over your head or you don't. And I really think that performance working in the public realm and interventions, performance interventions, really, I really feel that that's where our encounters and engagement happens. You know, yes, okay, we always want to have a bit of an audience. We'd love to have fun then. We'd love an ideal world. We'd love an ideal performance art situation. But really, what I got out of it was the realization that this is real life. You know, and I think it's fantastic, John, that this particular meeting encountered that, and I hope future meetings continue to encounter it.
Yeah,
And
something
to
really, yeah, sorry, just, you know, thank you, Sinead, for all what you said. yeah, is really something to not just leave it there, but you know, to consider, as you said, you know, those spaces and the interventions. Equinox, the project of Equinox has a little bit that intention, but yes, still is perhaps in most cases, except your group, John, perhaps a more enclosed situation, but they have this tremendous potentiality to really open up and in those interstices, social, you know, interstices that are hurting and where life still goes on and humanity needs humanity, right? And so it's something not to forget, not to forget, you know, like now we go back to our houses and our, you know, privileges and whatever, but it's that the vulnerability that I guess performance art and practice is knows and how to confront and how to actually you know, create from, you know, and learn from. I guess it's something that perhaps, I don't know, we could say people that are in that situation perceive, and therefore they did not feel, like in the case of what you were talking about, Sinead and John, you know, they did not feel intimidated or, you know, pushed away. On the contrary, it is very interesting.
I'm just wondering, Sinead, what is the experience now?
It's still very present. There has been attention drawn to and funding appearing to create a clinic. And I'm not sure the actual term, but it will be an addiction clinic. So addicts can have clean needles, healthcare, life support. It's to save lives.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my artist colleagues are involved because that's their day job would be to work in a homeless hostel. So it's really about saving lives and understanding addiction. And there is a center going to be opened, and that okay, so developers and they like to gentrify, so they're also trying to push art organizations out of the city, put the rents up. So a lot of the city center has a couple of kind of offices now where people can get support. There's much more awareness in the bad drugs that are happening, and they're making it much more public to let people know that there's bad stuff going around. They tried to close a women's hostel, and that was sufficient, so it was kept open. So it does feel like a kind of like a seesaw.
Yeah.
But I mean, I decided very early on as an artist that I was not going to be a social worker, that I was going to be an artist.
Mm.
I have done the whole community workshops, I've done all of that stuff, and I just really feel that public performance really engages with everyone, and that's inclusive.
Yeah.
Everyone is everyone.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah. My colleagues, my friends who are artists, a couple of them work in the homeless hostels, so they were saying that it's about the attitude they're trying to push is about saving lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether that person is an addict or not, and the attitude, you know, in the past or even present is like, oh, they're using, or they're alcoholics, or they're nothing, just leave them on the side.
Yeah.
They're trying to change this attitude in this is about saving life, and this is about human being, you know, and we need to take care of everybody. So I was quite delighted and kind of fascinated there, just because I know John's artists. I've been in Victoria, BC, where they are, and it's a great place to make performance. And you know,
fantastic.
and they have a lot more experience and a lot more of an open kind of empathy in how to deal with creating a space for everybody to be included, you know.
Okay.
And I think
So,
it did, yeah, so
something positive has come out.
Yeah, I hope so. I do think so. And it's got onto mainstream news now, so it is being talked about.
Well, Dublin was similar as well, so
Okay.
yeah,
very good.
Hopefully that will happen.
Yeah. So now we can watch Ying Mei's clip, where we will see a lot of people very close and a very interesting interaction. Ying Mei will, you know, after we watch the clip, you can talk a little bit more about the process, also the whole time of the residency, and how, because what we see is a reduction of the performance she did within inaugurating an exhibition, which is an installation with video component, which are documentation of the encounters with the different people that are there. They are audience, at the same time they are protagonists with her of the piece. So it's a whole sort of community event, and we will see. Let's watch that, and then Ying Mei remind us the time, the year that this happened later on, and the process. So we go ahead and watch that.
我是今晚开幕式的主持人王茂熙，是本次展览的执行策展人，是十方艺术中心驻留平台青年策展人扶持计划的参与者，很高兴能够参与本次展览。谢谢大家。
在认识英美老师之前，我就听说过他，基本上就是通过这张图片。我相信现场的很多朋友最开始知道他，应该也是这张图片，为无名山增高1米。这张图片、这个作品、这个事件如此有名，以至于可能很多人都想要知道参与这个作品以后的艺术家去干嘛了。在那以后，英美系统的学习了体育艺术。
我们是Bless创作的2张油画。Bless 呢来自法国，我是被触摸的，我是要画画的收藏品。以后有时间的时候，别忘了跟我互动哦。以前呢，美院的学生那个箱子都找棒棒，现在都不找了。那希望美院的学生以后有箱子还多找棒棒。我的主人呢叫宪三，宪三呢和英梅是2017年认识的。我是一面墙。你们愿意的话呢，可以呢靠靠我，可以靠靠我。
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Yeah. I do performance. I'm interested always interactive and collaboration. I think interactive and collaboration are both very important point points in my performance artwork. And I'm interested in everything. I curious about the human people and all kinds of people. Therefore, I work with people, not only artists, also people, for example, all kinds of, for example, from a housewife, or the social worker, or the scientist, or the retired people, or peasant, people from a village. I always interested because I'm interested the people. I also interested about their work, and also, if possible, I also like drawing their work because this makes me a lot of enjoyment. For example, I work with Apple businessman, and his family has a business with Apple. Now I was go to work with him to, to pick the apple down, and also talking with him and drawing his work, and this I like very much. Also, I work with a man has a lot of sheep. Now I was go with him and to look at the animals and to join his work. I like very much because I actually working with people since more than 20 years, and I have done different art projects in collaboration more than 100, much more. And some collaboration I have 50 people. And I was working 2021. I worked with Garage Museum in Moscow. By during the pandemic, I worked with I interact with 600 people. That is by Instagram. Yeah, Instagram. And my work in the museum actually, like a big show, more than 20 people. I was in the show for 5 months. But I like my work only one Instagram, the QR code. Like think, oh, I don't like because I'm interested about the audience. What kind of audience in the show? Because of the corona, you cannot go to the show. And I was thinking I want to work with the QR code show. The people scan my QR code, they can contact with me. I want to know how many people will in contact with me. I also like my work come out from the museum, and therefore, yeah, I like very much because through this work, I know a lot of people from Russia, and I also know Russian council people, and also about Moscow, how the people life, and how people salary sometimes also, and also about Russia, very interesting country. And also after this work come the war between Russia and Ukraine. I was very sad because I have a deeper feeling to them, and I like both of people from the country. But it's pity. I was very sad of 2 months, 3 months. I was very sad. Then my this Instagram hacked. I cannot go in. 5 months, but people can still see. And yeah, because I worked a lot of the project. And this Yingmei and her friends from Chongqing. Also, I worked with people because I'm interested about the city. I'm interested about the people. Yeah, all kinds of people. Also, children, very old.
You had invited a person who sweeps the streets, and the person was there, and you show objects like the coats of the curator were hanging there. So objects from the people that people made, the shoemaker, and he was there working also, you know, performing his own work. Yeah.
Listen, doing that because you know, in China, people like very much to know what is performance. You know, actually, a lot of normal things, if you put in the show, they can become performance. Therefore, during the opening, I invited different people also to do performance in my performance. For example, the woman cleaning street, she will cleaning in the in the show, and also the bang, the man with the stock, they go around, actually like street around. I tell them can go around the gallery, and also the calligraphy woman, and you know, you let people to join her calligraphy. Also the shoemaker. Actually, the shoemaker has a shop, studio.
Yeah.
And I invite him to come to there because these are performance in the show. Also, the people can buy in this performance. The people can buy, can eat, can selling, can sell. And,
they could sell also. Yeah, you may let me interrupt just a bit because John, he has to leave. He has to leave he's in the university, that's the room. Okay, John, you
Bye, John.
Thank you.
We say goodbye to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I raise my hand, Saichka, and I'm grateful and gratitude.
It was lovely to hear from you. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful for you, and thanks so much, Sinead and Yingmei and Noel. Nice meeting you, and I hope to see you somewhere around the world, either live or
maybe
virtually.
we'll come to Victoria.
Yeah, why not?
We'll be looking at your window one
we'll
day.
show up on the street.
Yeah, we'll just be looking in your sitting room window at you.
Yeah.
Well,
knocking at the back door.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Also, the email and her friends interesting. Also, the art center. It's very interesting art center. I wrote the name. It's very good art center. The people from the art center, they are all Buddhism. They earn very little money. They earn maybe each person only 350 euro. They are Buddhism. They don't. They you know, they get if they get support, they all spend for artists. They are very, very good art center. I'm very happy working with them. Yeah. And it's very, very interesting.
And that was, Yingmei, that was part of a residency you did with this art center that they offer. How long were you there that you developed all these relations and that became the context of the exhibition?
This is all. They invited me to have residency, and I actually don't have budget, but they offer me other things. For example, you know, in China they have little support. They offer me for the volunteer people can help me, and also students, and also I can live there for 3 months. They have different artist residency area. People can apply for it. It's very good art center. And now I was because I'm interested about Chongqing. I come from the north of China. I don't know Chongqing. Through this work, I know more about Chongqing, also the people. Yeah, and they did the show. I forgot maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were very busy.
I was very.
You were very busy.
Very. The last 2 weeks, I almost not sleep because so many videos to cutting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So until now, I already did more than collaboration video. My collaborator has always copyright too, and I have done more than 100. Yeah, because I only travel around the world. I have more than 40 countries, but I forgot many things. I forgot people. I forgot also my parents, and therefore the video also working with people like a small memory for me to remember the people. I interested the human. I interested everything. I learn each day new things. I interested the world. Also, each corner, each people interesting, and each thing is interesting, each area interesting, and everything is interesting. Yeah, I learn each day new things.
Yeah.
I learn composition.
Very good.
I also newly from London come back. I learn animation. I will want to do animation. Yes, but all things is a part of my performance elements. When I'm painting from my childhood, and I like installation, I like painting too. All kinds of style painting I like. Classical, impressionism, or the expressionism, everything I like. Therefore, if I paint, I paint always with different style because I like all. No, I paint only if I have performance project related to the painting.
Right.
Yeah, all art medium I like.
Everything it's embraced by performance art.
Yeah, everything if I do only if the thing related to the performance. Yeah. I also like children's book. I with my husband did a children's book, but we didn't finish 6. But we didn't finish 6. It's in working. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything interesting people I always like. For example, I always have interest to know the performance artists also. But this will come one day if I have interest. Because I know so many people, but actually I know almost very, very little. Yeah, I was sometime in the festival, but the festival people always speaking. Yeah.
Fast.
I don't know. I don't know.
It goes too fast.
Yeah, too fast.
It is true. Yeah.
I like to know people from childhood until now what they are doing, about their life, family life, their experience, parents, and their life, and their children's life, their worried or their happiness, everything. Yeah, this I like. I also like to speak only one person. If I know a person.
Yeah, one person at a time. Yes.
Each day I have meeting. Each day I have meeting talking with people. But my talking always, they know me. I also know them. We are equal. Equal collaboration.
Exactly. Make friendship.
It feels very intimate to have an intimate connection.
Yes.
To feel somebody else's, almost like to feel someone else's heartbeat.
Yeah, I have friends always like me to talking. But I tell many years and I told no, I don't want to only talk me. I also want to know you. Because I always want to listen from me. I want also to know you. You 1 hour, 1 hour. If he doesn't talk, I also not talk to him. Because I always talk alone. Yes. I always like all people interesting. All people have interesting life. Yeah. And
yes, totally.
Each person creative, not only artist.
Absolutely. Yes.
And,
Yes. I also record many times conversations with taxi drivers, different people. That is so interesting. Yeah, and your work really, I mean, like this piece brings up that dimension of the artist caring, you know, and is this relational, constant relational attitude. I mean, like really, really, really doing the cherishing and honoring the other person, the artist as a listener, you know, also.
Also, in this interactive performance, they have also different art medium. They have photo, video, and objects, also painting, and also, different things. Also, animation too, and also
animation. Yeah.
Yeah, all different. Yeah, because I like all different art medium, also different people in the work. Because everything interesting. Also, I make a 3-dimensional internet, because you don't see the show. The show is this object connected with other objects. And by writing that, people need to see the writing small notes.
The exhibition had this interactive thing also, that the people could manipulate the objects and things like that.
Yeah, and
very interesting.
Interactive collaboration is the most important since more than 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Also working with people, for example, pandemic, the people pandemic time, the people working a lot of with video. Actually, since Skype come the world, since 2006, I already by Skype always working with the international people.
Yeah, with other people.
All the projects
across borders.
We meet is talking by Skype. Yeah.
Very good.
I like very much working.
Yes. And it comes up, and you do get people's attention, and in the video we can see everybody so happy and interested. It's really amazing. The piece is a good way to kind of finish up with those images for us. And I would just ask one thing for each one of you to say something little brief while we get ready to say goodbye and close the conversation, is if you have any other project you are working on right now that is collaborative, or whatever it is that you're working on right now, something that that is more current that you can mention. Noel, you wanna go ahead?
Okay, yeah, I've been working on a project since 2014 with William and Mary University, Williamsburg, Virginia, Pennsylvania. We've been doing projects in Galway City in relation to the Eglinton Canal. There's an actual website I've set up. It's called BsAs-AR, the Art Cycle, which is an Irish name, and it's sort of like a returning, reusing sort of thing. So there's massive number of projects involved, and coming up soon, I will be doing I have done live performances with them and in collaboration with the students. But to sort of put a cap on it in a sense, I'm doing a final performance for this period, because it's continuing, and it will continue hopefully for another couple of years. I will be doing a live performance to invite audience in my studio, because I feel it will accommodate, because of basically what happened with the project was there was a lot of trash taken from a canal in Galway City that I've been making sculptures from and using in various other projects, in video and in film and whatever, and in performance. And this is like because of it, there's quite an amount of objects involved. It just seemed the easiest thing to do, because I have rather than get a truck to move the objects, just to do the performance in my studio where I have the objects. So that's coming up. It's been on hold for a little while because I had some eye surgery, so I'm recuperating from that, but I'm getting there, and that's coming up, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's super great. Do you have something I'm sure you have something doing right now that you can mention briefly, and then we close up with Sinead.
Okay, and my art project, I work with my husband. My husband actually is also very good artist. I collect his drawing from 4 years old until 2000, around more than 10,000 drawings. He wrote more than 20 books. He's a big dictionary. He's philosopher. He's artist. He's art educator. He's a middle-aged art researcher. He's Wagner and a great specialist. My husband from early morning until evening, drawing, reading, writing each day. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And this work with him because I collect his work is our job and make everything good. And this is one. Another is I make my second catalog. My second catalog, and I need to finish in March. If I finish, you can get.
Oh, wonderful. That would be so great.
Also, my website in order. Also, some other projects is also going on.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And Sinead, let's hear from you.
In the immediate future, in mid-January to mid-March 2024, I'm going to go to Japan. My husband is Japanese, and I'm trying not to make performance because I'm always making performance, and I'd like to research, and I'd like to read, and I'd like to go to the cinema and maybe a bit of karaoke, but I'm trying to research. In Japan, they have triennales. The biennale is 2 years, the triennale is 3 years. So I'm going to Yokohama for a month, and then I'm going to Sapporo. And I'm curious to how the Japanese art structure programs performance art. What is their perception of it? Where are women included? Where is LGBTQ? Because Japan is a very misogynist culture.
Very.
And I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going to give it a go.
Wonderful.
I'm going to be brave. My husband's already made my business card say, just say you're a curator. Nobody will want to talk to you if they think you're an artist. So I'm just like, right, okay.
Yeah, that's right. He's so right.
Yeah, and he's very good. I mean, if anybody wants advice about Japan and going there and working there, really, Shiro,
get a title and make a card.
He's so kind,
Yeah.
And then what I'm doing, my brother died a year ago.
Oh,
I'm just really trying to I'm trying to figure out how to
to honor his work. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
It's because pandemic.
Yes, it's a fantastic project. Yeah.
Oh, it's Corona or that.
He was a really great performance artist, and he's so good. And I'm just really struggling.
Yeah.
It's not for shame.
How do I get funding for a dead artist, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's you know, is the sort of curator and the researcher more, you know, from your part to do the funding. I'm sure there is a corner there, and you will find people that to help you there. That's very important. That's fantastic.
Or I can just bring his work with me to my opportunities and just put him in the program, you know.
Also,
well, you can draw strength from that. You can draw strength from that, Sinead.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't think I was going to get this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's
absolutely
totally okay.
natural. I know what it is.
It's very difficult. It must be very difficult for you.
It is.
Well,
it is.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's it's always losing somebody. It's always a wound. And, you know, the close people, and it takes time to heal. You know, and to go with it. It's still with us always.
Well, we collaborated a lot, and we lived together. I mean, we both lived in Belfast, and he escaped Tala, and he was a very big energy. So I can't really go anywhere in Belfast because it's him everywhere. Everyone's associated, and we look like each other. And I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't want his beautiful memory and all of his artwork to just be in a box.
No, there's a lot of things you can do. Yeah,
get it out there. Get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm
you
open
know,
to
honor him and his work.
Yeah.
Let it be shown. Let it be seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You could keep his work.
I did.
Could arrange his artwork.
I have his artwork.
Yeah.
I have it, and then we were both artists in Flax Art Studios, so I have all of his studio stuff in my studio now, and the artist community in Belfast has been so kind, and Ireland and internationally. I'm just really struggling I've never done this before.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Day
by day, one day at a time, Sinead.
Exactly. It's one day at a time.
Yeah.
It's one day at a time.
Chin agus goresh gorav anam dilish.
Good luck.
Fáilte.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay, but cheers.
I'm so sorry.
No. Sorry for what?
We grieve with you. We
are with you. We feel it. We feel
Thank
it.
you.
Yes. So, wow, it's everything we went around looking at the work, enjoying ourselves, listening to and thinking about what this, you know, the grief of the pandemic and brought to us, and how performance artists dealt with it.
And so many souls have
breaking rules.
Yeah.
So many souls have been lost.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's like a collective grief that nobody knows.
And that grief, that grief is with us all.
Thanks, Noel.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I actually managed to get on the Zoom tonight. I was so worried. I had reminders on my phone for weeks. Going, I can't let Gracie down.
Whereabouts in Tip are you?
I mean, I don't know what, Noel. I don't know where I am. I'm Ballynowhere. I'm in Live Art Ireland in the middle. I'm in the middle. I don't know where. It just feels. I don't know where I am.
No, because I'm originally from Tip.
You know what? I'll take a photo tomorrow, and I'll
missing in Tipperary.
missing in Tipperary. Lovely.
Okay.
Oh God.
I go back up. I go back up north tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Tomorrow
much.
you get your geared again.
I really appreciate kind of just being included, and I appreciate the exposure.
Please. This
It's
is
lovely.
no,
It's
it's just
so great to
a
get to know
moment to be
everyone.
together. It really is. It really is to listen to each other, you know, and see the work a little bit and be inspired by all of you. It's really, I really thank you so much, and I hope we meet soon somewhere, like John said. Yes, you know, Buenos Aires is here. You are all welcome. There is a house. There is a roof here.
As well, this is the magic that's come out of the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my dear friends.
Myself and Noel can work on north-south interventions.
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And when I get a few bob together, I'll be over.
But I'll go as your assistant.
Yeah. You're my curator.
We can be, yes, curators. We are curators and assistants of each other.
I could be your gallerist. That's even
yes, absolutely. Of course. You know, can you imagine that? Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's not just.
Yeah. It's not over yet.
Yeah, Ihawag is kind of soft.
It's not over yet. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all the arrangement.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Hi, Yumi.
Judy May, you're very welcome to Ireland.
If you come to Germany, I live in Braunschweig. You can stay at us for a few days.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We'll all go to Germany.
If you want to risk
we will meet.
Yes, thank you.
We just need a designated driver.
Right. Yes, very important. Thank you so much. That was
Muchas
lovely.
gracias, Tracy.
Thank you. Love you all. Take care.